but the world are a better place since Hillary lost and Obama's crimes are exposed. Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're going to do anything about it other than just wait for old age like Bush Sr. here. You know, I mean, probably the only reason that Bush Sr. passed away, and you notice how all of those people lived to be pretty old, ladies and gentlemen. That's, funny in itself. I'd kind of like to know why. It's because his wife passed away here, 6 months ago. So he just fell into a statistic. At some point, it's really hard to live on when your former spouse is gone and you've lived with that spouse for God knows how many years, 50 plus years. I mean, it's a statistic. He dies a broken heart. Well, so be it. Now he's meeting and speaking with his maker. Well, he's not really speaking. He's just really doing because, he's probably paying for his price already. Agatha Joanna says, but they won't do anything about it if not rich people lost their houses. Of course, there wouldn't be any type of mainstream media on it at all. But when it happens to poor people, like that poor town up in Northern California, they're actually suing some of the big corporations there. PB&N, I think, the electric company there, or the power company, that whole town is suing them because of what they're stating has happened and why the fire was created in the first place. But when it comes to the people in Malibu that had their mansions burned down, and even in President Trump's videos, you're seeing that there's still leaves on the trees and houses were burnt to the ground. And you're telling me, what? How could houses be burnt to the ground and the leaves still exist on any trees, even close or remotely close to any houses? What's going on there? Was the wind just so fierce that it just decided not to burn this tree down, or what? Yes, Julie Jordan. Well, Slick Willie and Killary look very sick, so hopefully these evil, inhumane, miserable crooks go and meet their maker. I agree. And if you saw the video that I did on Clinton's, their first little meeting that they had in set up in Canada, only 3,300 people supposedly showed up in a venue that houses almost 19 plus thousand people. You could hear the echoing when they were speaking, and you would know that there's just probably not a lot of people in there, because if there were, the echo would be less and less dominant because of human beings themselves. And it's hilarious. So I guess they have canceled that entire venue, but I really think they've canceled it because now hopefully Hillary Clinton is actually going to be indicted. Maybe they're doing a 13 speaking tour, or they were in Canada. Why were they in Canada for? Are they avoiding something? Are they trying to run from something? I wonder what that is. Well, President Trump needs to act on a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know that he can. And I don't know that even the President of the United States isn't anything more than just, like Dorothy D says, a patsy. I think President Trump is probably at this point just a figurehead, just someone who's going to be in front of the American people. He's not really in control of as much as we think he is. And that's why he does things by stealth, because he really probably can't do anything else other than persuade the American people, like he does with a lot of travels that he does around the states, and a lot of the get-togethers that he obviously has had and will continue to have to boost up the American people's morale. William Garcia says, I wanted to stand up and have a rally in Sacramento for President Trump regarding all of the liars: Pelosi, Feinstein, Crazy Maxine, Waters, Brown, Obama, and Schiff. Well, good luck, Wilma. You're in Sacramento, California. You're in the lion's den. I hope that you don't walk out your door and get attacked by every crazy that just hates President Trump for hating President Trump because they're told to. So again, are we really sheep, ladies and gentlemen? You say that you aren't, but look at the federal documents that are coming out on a daily basis, and you tell me whether or not you understand them, and you tell me whether or not we're all just really sheep, because we're just being fed this constant barrage of media that's talking about Mueller this and Mueller that for almost 2 blatant years. Isn't it getting a little repetitive? But this is the way that they work on the human psychology, ladies and gentlemen. They've done it for decades. I mean, we can really go back to 1912. That's where they started to take us off the gold standard, and all of this craziness has started, especially with something that I know President Trump is trying to attack, which is the banking systems, the global banking systems. But that's another story, right? I mean, we're just going to talk about this Mueller probe investigation that has nothing to do with anything, but they're just going to make it up anyway. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is now going to be the new Speaker of the House. Well, no, she's going to be the new Speaker of the House again. She's going to be the leader again. I'm sorry, maybe not the Speaker of the House. That's the Vice President, right? She's going to be the majority leader. Not once, but several times. I mean, come on. They're doing it on purpose. They're making every one of us, all American people, out to be idiots. And you know what? If we don't act correctly, we're no better than those people coming up from South and Central America trying to get into this country. We're sheep. And if we aren't, then I'd like to see somebody go on Capitol Hill with 1 million people and protest specifically with certified documents protesting against them. That's what I'd like to see. Now, it's another thing trying to harness that many people out of being sheep, but are we really any different than those people on the border trying to get into this country? Not really. They're, for the most part, trying to run from their country's craziness as well, except for many of the criminals that are inside those caravans as well. But aren't they running from the same place because they can't get anything because it's an impoverished situation? We're lucky we're American citizens and we're not as impoverished as others. But if you go into California and Southern California and see all the people living in tents, you're going to realize that we're just all human beings just trying to move forward in our own lives, right? We don't have any time for this judicial process, do we? Robin Gailey says that when Fox started giving Juan Williams and Jessica Turlov and the chick with glasses more time than conservatives, I tuned out. Well, they want to have a bipartisan analysis of everything, right? Well, what's bipartisan? That's what we're talking about here, right? Is President Trump getting any of that? Probably not. AJ Reyes says that, oh, do you mean Marie Barf? Yeah. Catherine Stone says depopulation. Well, of course. They just want us useless eaters to pass on. You know, luckily one is already passed on. We're getting a barrage of who that one is in all the mainstream media on every channel this morning, I guarantee you. I don't even want to mention his name again because he doesn't deserve it, because documents state that he had something to do with a lot of the craziness that has gone on in the past 100 years. His entire family, ladies and gentlemen. So no, I'm not going to honor that fallen person that I won't mention. Franklin Taylor says they have it now that white people can't protest without being called racist. People need to grow a thicker skin. Well, I've got some news for you, Franklin. There are no such thing as white people. Let's get this straight, ladies and gentlemen, and you can look this up for yourself just to find out more than you know now at this point before I tell you. There are only 7 colors in the entire spectrum. Any scientist is going to tell you that. And the colors white and black are not there because they're not colors. They're light. Go look it up. Any physicist is going to tell you that. So anyone who says and talks about white people and black people and this and that, this is exactly where they have us, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to say that I am not exempt from that. Years ago, I thought the same thing. But Franklin, again, I will tell you, there's no such thing as white or black people. Period. End of story. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are indoctrinated if we keep thinking that way. There are only 7 colors in the spectrum, and white and black are not one of them. Jesse Jackson, well, yeah, he loves that you think they're black people and they're hitting up on my community. And yeah, right. Go listen to Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches. If you're really smart, you might go sit and listen to one of his speeches. He says nothing to the contrary about black people. He never says the word black. He always talks about community when he refers to his people. That's why they got rid of him, because he wasn't assessing the agenda that they wanted him to. Oh, we got a white man to take him out. Right. Well, anybody can hire somebody like that. And then again, it wasn't really a white man. But there again, they're continuing to fool the common human being because they're hypnotized. They're easy to fool. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you get anything out of this, there is no such color as black or white. Period. End of story. If you mention it, then you are just contributing to their lies. Period.